Welcome to the fourth video in our travel series. This plan is for 10 days in Japan following the Emerald route. We've covered the popular Golden route, the lesser-known Diamond route, and the Northern Pearl route. This time we'll be uncovering the adventurous South Islands of Shikoku and Kyushu, full of unique sights that you won't see anywhere else in the world. The stunning natural beauty is what makes this path the Emerald route, from lush forests to active volcanoes. There's something for everyone on this action-packed adventure. I'm Jun from Japan Junkie, and this is part 4 of our travel itinerary series. We'll begin in Shikoku, the smallest major island of Japan, starting in the city of Takamatsu. If you're traveling the Golden route that finishes in Osaka, you can add the Emerald route onto the end of your itinerary. If you do this, you'll have the added bonus of enjoying Kobe and Awaji Island along the way. The body of water between the main island of Honshu and the two southern islands of Shikoku and Kyushu is the Seto Inland Sea. It's known for beautiful scenery and hundreds of islands, many of which are uninhabited. As you journey through the region, you'll have opportunities to enjoy the picturesque inland sea at various viewpoints. The first of which will be from Takamatsu Castle Park in the center of the city. It's one of the 3 water castles in Japan and is sometimes referred to as Seaweed Castle because of the surrounding moat that's filled with water from the nearby ocean. While you're in Takamatsu, take a relaxing walk through Ritsurin Garden. The historic parklands have been maintained for over 400 years, dating back to the Edo period. It's one of the largest gardens in Japan and showcases many of the famous Japanese landscaping techniques, including carefully manicured trees and bridges that stretch over koi ponds. For fans of art, take a ferry to Naoshima Island to see the famous sculptures by the sea and the Museum of Contemporary Art. The island itself has a Mediterranean atmosphere with many beautiful views and interesting installations, with the most famous being the sculpture that's simply titled Pumpkin. Takamatsu Marugame Machi Shopping Street is the best place to spend the evening. The enormous arcade is covered by a glass dome and has a range of traditional and local products, from snacks to souvenirs. You'll start day 2 by heading to Kochi, stopping first at Iya Valley. Located in the very heart of Shikoku, the valley is known for its lush forests and winding rivers. It's especially famous for these vine bridges, known as Kazurabashi, that have been maintained for centuries. In the past, there were 13 that were used to navigate the forest. Nowadays, only 3 remain, and you can still walk across them. If you're driving from here, make sure to pass by Nogoro village. There are 27 human residents living here, along with 200 dolls. As the population of the small town dwindled, a local artist started crafting scarecrows to replace the departed residents. Continue on to Kochi and begin with a visit to Kochi Castle. Inside, you'll find displays of artifacts. There's a panoramic view of the city and the surrounding landscape from the top floor. Finish the day at Hirome Ichiba, which is a market that's situated in a traditional hall. There are many local specialties to try, including katsuo tataki, which is a type of fish called bonito that's been seared over a fire. On day 3, you'll be heading to Matsuyama. Stop on your way to see 2 unique sights of Shikoku. The first is Niodo River, which has the cleanest water in Japan. It's so pristine that the shade is known as Niodo Blue. You can take a steep but short hike down to Nikobuchi, which is a single waterfall that flows into an aqua basin. This is a sacred site, and it's often described as being magical or more like it's from an anime than real life. Continue on to Nakatsu Gorge, which is a Shinto area formed over 300 million years ago. In Japan, it's considered to be a power spot, which is a Japanese concept used for particularly energized or spiritual locations. Finally, you'll arrive in Matsuyama, a nostalgic city known for its scenery and hot springs. From the main station, you'll see Matsuyama Castle, which is a stunning landmark of the city. From here, you can board a miniature sightseeing train that will take you to your next destination, which is Dogo Onsen. The main building of this traditional inn is the setting for Spirited Away, the incredibly famous Studio Ghibli film. It's one of the oldest hot springs in Japan, dating back over 1,000 years. Close by, there are shrines that are part of a special pilgrimage known as Shikoku Henro. This traditional practice covers 88 temples across the island of Shikoku. It takes travellers anywhere from 30 to 60 days to complete the entire walk, but you can visit part of the path during your trip. As it happens, shrine number 52 and 53 are easy to walk to in Matsuyama. You may see pilgrims along the way. They will be wearing traditional straw hats, white vests, and using hiking poles. Return to Dogo Onsen to complete the Shikoku chapter of your adventure by relaxing in the hot springs. On day 4, you'll be leaving the island and travelling to Kyushu, the 3rd largest island renowned for its diverse landscapes, including active volcanoes and unique onsens. You'll be leaving Matsuyama and heading to the port at Yawatahama. On your way, you can take a ferry to see one of Japan's cat islands. This small fishing village is paradise for the cats that live here, and many of them have become local personalities. Continue on to Yawatahama, where you'll be catching the ferry. Bookings are not required for passengers travelling on foot, but you will need to make a reservation if you have a car. After travelling around 2.5 hours by sea, you'll arrive on the island of Kyushu in Oita Prefecture. This coastal city is known for onsens and many interesting towns, one of which is Usuki, famous for stone Buddhas. There are 61 sculptures carved into the cliff, some of which are over 1,000 years old. As Buddha sculptures are usually wood or bronze, these are quite unusual and have been designated as a national treasure. The most popular location in Oita is Beppu, which is where you'll be spending the rest of the day. The town symbolises the volatility of the island. Kyushu is based on fault lines in the Earth's crust, and because of this, every year the island expands by 1 centimetre. The town of Beppu has a range of interesting sites resulting from volcanic activity. Unlike the relaxing onsens that you may have seen, the hot springs here have come to be known as the 8 hells of Beppu, as they are far too hot for soaking. However, their strangely unique qualities have made them very popular. Each pool has its own personality. One may be bubbling mud, while another is a steaming vent. The range of qualities are reflected in their names, such as cooking pot or blood pond. Afterwards, you can enjoy a more relaxing natural onsen. Yufuin Onsen Town has stunning traditional inns, with outdoor hot springs that you absolutely can safely soak in. On day 5, you'll be moving on to Fukuoka, the largest city on the island of Kyushu. Hakata Station is the main transport hub in Fukuoka, and your first visit will be to Nanzo-in Temple. Here you'll see a range of sculptures, including the largest bronze reclining Buddha in the world, which is an incredible 41 metres long, or 135 feet, and weighs 300 tonnes. Fukuoka is also home to Meotoiwa, which are wedded rocks. The larger husband rock is tied to the wife rock using a heavy straw rope that's used in Shinto rituals. You can find these Meotoiwa across Japan, and they are a popular destination for couples. Finish your day at one of the classic Fukuoka food stalls called yatai. These small stalls seat only around 8 people and offer a variety of food options. You'll find them all across the city, but Nakasu Island has 20 yatai in a row beside the water. You'll find a range of grilled items and noodle dishes, but the local specialty is Hakata Ramen, which has thin noodles and a tonkotsu pork soup. Day 6 will be spent in Nagasaki. The city is full of international cultural influences from the past. For example, So-Hokuji is a temple that belongs to Zen Buddhism, built hundreds of years ago by Nagasaki's Chinese residents. The Ora Church is a Catholic cathedral built by French missionaries. And Glover Garden is a Western-style open-air museum of historical foreign residents. However, a visit to Nagasaki isn't complete without seeing the museum dedicated to the devastation of the city during World War II. Here you will see evidence of the destruction caused and the many lives that were lost. The nearby Peace Park is a tranquil and moving experience that leaves the visitor with a sense of hope for the future. A short boat ride from Nagasaki is Gunkanjima, or Battleship Island. It was once a densely populated mining community until the 1970s and then abandoned. The buildings have been left to nature, and the unique and eerie environment attracts tourists. The island was featured in the James Bond film Skyfall, and for more information you can check out our video on films set in Japan. Nagasaki is a photographer's dream with unique festivals throughout the year. Seasonal displays include the hydrangea and tulip festivals. It's also home to Kunchi, which sees cultural parades of performers, and the stunning Lantern Festival, where the streets glow with paper lights. These are just a few, so it's a good idea to check the calendar for when you're travelling. On day 7, you'll be moving on to Kumamoto. On your way, you'll pass right through Yanagawa. The city is often referred to as the Venice of Japan, with hundreds of kilometres of peaceful canals that are navigated by boats. Once you arrive in Kumamoto, you'll find many exciting places to explore. In the centre of the city is the castle and the beautiful Suizenji Jojuen, which has a circular strolling path around the traditional Japanese landscape. Fans of the anime One Piece can also find statues of the main characters throughout the city. Despite all of the interesting sights, the city of Kumamoto is most famous for its mascot, Kumamon. This black bear with rosy cheeks has generated more than 1 trillion yen in themed merchandise sales over the past decade. So while you're in his hometown, don't forget to get your own Kumamon souvenir. East of the city is Mount Aso, an active volcano that is one of the largest in the world. It has 5 central peaks. The central cone is Nakarate, and the smoking crater is accessible to visitors on clear days. Here you'll also find the stunning Kusasenri, which is a grassy plain that overlooks Mount Aso. You can also ride horses here from March to mid-December. Close by and hidden in a forested valley is the incredible Kurokawa Onsen Town. This is one of Japan's most beautiful onsen towns, perfect for a relaxing escape. You'll be travelling to Kagoshima on day 8 and stopping at perhaps the most photographed place in Kyushu, which is why it's often used for the island's tourism campaigns. It's called Takachiho, and it's the first place you'll visit today. The area is steeped in mythology regarding Amaterasu, the Shinto sun goddess. That's why it's considered another power spot. The most iconic site is the gorge. The green trees and sheer basalt cliffs resemble dragon scales, and the 17-metre Minai waterfall can be admired from above or below in a rented boat. Moving on to Kagoshima, you'll see the symbol of the city, Sakurajima. This is Japan's most active volcano and is a permanent backdrop for the citizens who live here. It's why Kagoshima is often compared to its sister city of Naples. You can visit the volcanic island that has many relaxing parks and viewpoints. For a unique experience, head to Ibusuki Onsen. This hot spring town at the southern tip of the city is famous for sand bathing. You can be buried in sand that's been warmed by the volcanic hot springs. It's said to be effective for pain and health issues, along with having many beautifying benefits. Of course, afterwards, you can finish the day at a more traditional and relaxing hot spring. On day 9, you'll be visiting the very first UNESCO World Heritage Site in Japan. The island of Yakushima is unlike anywhere else in the country. It's covered in an ancient cedar forest with trees that are thousands of years old. The mountainous island is made of granite, meaning there's no soil, so everything grows out of moss. Despite the dense greenery, and even though it's the most humid area in Japan, there are no mosquitoes. There is, however, a small breed of deer and Yakushima macaques that are hairier than their mainland cousins. The island is mostly inhabited by trees. The famous yakusugi trees grow nowhere else in the world. The oldest is over 7,000 years old. You'll spend the day hiking, snorkeling, or enjoying the waterfalls before finishing at an outdoor onsen that overlooks the sea. Day 10 will be spent in Miyazaki. You'll start by returning on the ferry to Kagoshima, which takes around 2.5 hours. You'll then continue on to Miyazaki, stopping on the way at Cape Toi to see a sight unlike anywhere else in the world. Here there is a green headland that overlooks the sea along with a lighthouse. What makes it so unusual is that it's a breeding ground for wild horses. These rare Japanese horses, that are not much bigger than ponies, love to come and graze on the grass here. You'll finish the Emerald Route in Miyazaki, known for its resorts and beaches and for having one of the warmest climates in Japan. There are many stunning natural attractions, including Aoshima Island. Here you'll see a colourful shrine that is said to bring luck to married couples. You'll also find rock formations at low tide known as the Devil's Washboard, which gets its name from the rows of ridges. While you're in the city, you can also visit Peace Tower Park. It was built in 1940 to celebrate the legendary first emperor of Japan. The tower sits in the centre of the park and was created from stones that were sent from countries all across Asia, symbolising a united world. To finish the Emerald Route, Miyazaki has an airport, so you can fly back to Tokyo or take a train. Many people choose to go on to South Korea, which is very close to Kyushu. Japan is experiencing a huge increase in visitors, so if you'd like an unforgettable adventure off the beaten path, make sure to check out Japan's South Islands. Thank you for staying all the way to the end. You can leave a comment with any suggestions you have for future videos, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.